Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've been thinking long and hard about making this particular video. Because it's not entirely motorcycle related. But it's about something I've noticed with increasing regularity recently. And it is something I feel somewhat particular about. I don't know when being particular about something turns into being pedantic about something. So it's like, am I really wasting my time making this video? But also I'm kind of aware that it might earn me a certain amount of flack. There's a danger that I feel so particular about this that it could turn into a rant. I don't want it to turn into a rant. If anything, I would like it to kind of be educational. And I've been, waffling along for 30-40 seconds now without coming to the point. It's about a particular issue of how people are using the English language. Now, I've come out and said it. I don't want to come across as a grammar. And in particular, it's about people's use of apostrophes. Now, I'm aware that there are people who, for one reason or another, are confused about the rules. I'm aware that there are some people who have very, very good reasons. People who have genuine neurological ailments. That just means they find the rules difficult to grasp with. But that said, I do need to get this off my chest. So forgive me, I don't wish to offend anyone in particular. Now, why talk about this on a motovlog, you might ask? Well, regrettably, the transgressions I have observed are increasingly frequently appearing on the YouTube videos, thumbnails of some motorcyclist vloggers. You're letting the side down. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce Professor ThrottleUp's rules for apostrophes. Okay, rule number 1. And I have to say it, this is one that particularly gets on my tits. Sorry guys, but it does. Never, ever, ever use an apostrophe in a verb. Never, ever, ever use an apostrophe in a plural. You just don't do it. And I know that there are some instances where you look at what you've written down and you think, that doesn't look right. But don't do it. Never in a verb, never in a plural. No, 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 no. Mamma mia. How many no's did I say back there? It's an interesting question to look at written down. It's one of the cases where you might be tempted to put an apostrophe in. I'm talking about the word no in the plural You just put an S on the end, and it looks wrong. And I suspect it looks wrong because we have, in the English language, a particular abbreviation for the word number, which is NO, followed by a full stop and then a digit. So number 1, number 2, number 3. And as number is a noun, you might think the abbreviation can be pluralized. And so when you see NOS, you might think, oh, that means numbers. It doesn't mean nose. But I want it to mean nose. So how do I make that distinction? I guess the way I would make that distinction is to rephrase the question. Instead of saying, how many no's did I say back there? I might say, how many times did I use the word no just then? And that allows you, because the no is the word, you can actually put the plural somewhere else. And when you look at the word instances, or you look at the word times, you don't feel you want to put an apostrophe there. Now, obviously, it's a longer form of asking the question. And when you're speaking, you never shorten the word number to the word no. So when you're speaking, how many no's did I say back there? That's understandable. But when you're writing it down, you think, oh, am I making myself clear? So you might say, you've told us when we can't use apostrophes, Mr. Clever Dick Professor. When can you use apostrophes? When should you use apostrophes? Okay, well, here's Professor ThrottleUp's rule for apostrophes number 2. When you're shortening two words together. So the phrase that is shortened to that's. The phrase does not is shortened to doesn't. So that's a nice classic car, but it doesn't have cruise control. When you're shortening words like that, bringing them together, that's when you use an apostrophe. Now, I want to keep this kind of basic. I'm sure there are subtleties that are written down in Shakespearean sonnets somewhere, or the deepest, darkest bowels of the Oxford English Dictionary. Professor ThrottleUp's rule for apostrophes number 3 is possessives, and there is a very important exception in this rule. When you're referring to something that kind of belongs to something else or is associated with something else, you'll put an apostrophe S or an S apostrophe on the end of the something. So an example here might be, I can't see one, but there's a mouse. It's brown. Or rather, its fur is brown. Now, what do you notice there about the two usages of the word it's? In the first case, we're not actually using a possessive, we're shortening a phrase. We're saying it is brown. It is brown. And so we're shortening it to its. And we could use an apostrophe there. But in the bit that says, or rather, its fur is brown, here we're saying that the fur belongs to the mouse. And it's the edge case here. I could say the mouse's fur is brown. And we have an apostrophe. We have mouse apostrophe S. If the mouse was called Marshall, for instance, Marshall the mouse, you could say Marshall's fur is brown, and you have apostrophe S. And in the plural, let's say we have a bunch of motorcycles, you could say motorcycles' wheels are round. Motorcycles' wheels, the end of motorcycles is an S apostrophe. And that's because motorcycles is plural, not a singular. But with the word it, in the case of the mouse, if we say its fur is brown, and I don't know the reason for this rule, but it is the rule, in the possessive form of its, you do not use an apostrophe. It's its without the apostrophe. I guess so. There you have it. That's Professor ThrottleUp's 3 rules. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. Right, try not to drop the bike. Professor ThrottleUp's 3 rules for apostrophes. Never use apostrophes in plurals or in verbs. Apostrophes are used for concatenating and shortening words together. And apostrophes are used when you're trying to indicate possession, except when the pronoun is it. You don't use an apostrophe when the pronoun is it. So that's the end of that little video. I hope I've not annoyed you. Please don't unsubscribe. If you like the content, think about giving the video a thumbs up, give it a like. If you generally like the content on the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that in 6 months' time when I release another video you'll get to hear about it. Ride safe everyone, and hopefully I'll see you next time.